Okay, let's finish this trip. That's it, good to go. This is it, finally. Everything's loaded. We're good to go, we're cinched down. Timber's in the back. Time to go. I've probably been on the road just over an hour. It's about a 2-hour and 15-minute drive to get to the gravel road where I go in, and then it's about another 12 and a half miles from there. So I've got perhaps an hour to drive on the more or less paved roads, and then, well, who knows what happens after that. I'm a little over halfway on the highway. When I get there, I'm not going to take the time to do a loadout on all the gear I'm bringing with me. So I thought what I'd probably do is just tell you about it while we're driving, since I've got time on my hands. So, in the canvas backpack that I made, I have a very, very heavy quilted blanket. It's much thicker and heavier than a regular blanket. It would be like probably 3 or 4 wool blankets put together in thickness. It's bulky and it's heavy, but boy, I'll tell you, up in this cold country, that's the thing you want to have with you. I don't really use sleeping bags. I make up a blanket roll, a bed roll type thing. I find that works better for me anyway. In addition to that, I have some basic safety gear, first aid kit, that type of thing. Probably half of what I've got with me is camera gear, tripods, and all that kind of thing. That stuff takes up a lot of room. It's a pain in the butt, really. I have my basic stuff. I have my axe and a saw and so on. I also have a small cook set. I have a pan and a mug that I can use to heat up water if I want to. I don't really care for them that much, but I've got a couple of packages of those ramen noodle soup things. They're easy to carry. They last forever, and they're just a little hot water, and you got yourself a warm meal. So I'm carrying some of that, a couple of granola bars, things like that. So I'm stocked up with enough food that if I did get stuck in there and I had to stay overnight, I've got the gear to do it. In addition to my camera gear, as far as electronics go, this property isn't marked, and it doesn't actually reach the road that you go in on. There's about 1,750 feet or something of public land, crown land, between the edge of the road and the actual property line. A registered easement, a right-of-way that allows me access to that, so that's not a problem. So I have my GPS, and I have the waypoint coordinates for the property, just in case I have any difficulty there. I have binoculars so that I can see what's going on. A range finder, just in case there's anything interesting that I want to kind of get an idea of what the measurements are like. I also have my night vision scope. I don't plan to stay the night, but certainly there's no lights out there. It's 40 miles from the nearest village, and that 40 miles doesn't have even one single gas station or anything. It's absolutely just nothing. Just about, I guess it's about 15 miles of dirt back road. It's actually a logging road, and then a back roads highway that takes me the rest of the way into that village. So this is a remote place. If it was any more remote, and it might almost be this time for me, you almost need to fly in to get to this thing. I mean, it's just on the borderline of you can't get there sort of thing. Well, if you want to get into a quiet place to go hunting and so on, it gets pretty darn private when you get back into that area. So those are just a few of the things. I have a thermos, and I have a hot thermos of tea. I have a cold thermos of juice, and I have a thermos of water, just for if I have to make up that soup or anything. I do have my emergency kit with me, so I have all kinds of fire starting equipment and things like that. That's not going to be a problem. So I'm pretty well equipped for just about anything that's going to go wrong. And as I said, even if I end up getting stuck in there for whatever reason overnight, I have enough gear with me to be comfortable. Nothing fancy, you know, I didn't bring fancy meals or anything. I don't have a steak back there to cook on the fire. This is a kind of a busy trip. I want to get in there, look around. I want to spend every possible minute covering the ground out there and seeing what I have. So that gives us a pretty good idea. Maybe later on, if I have time and the video is not too long, I'll do a loadout on the gear. Otherwise, that might be something for another day. If anybody is interested in that, you can put it in the comments that you'd like to see it, and if people want to see it, I can do that. So anyways, I'm going to carry on, and the next time I talk to you, we'll be at the end of the highway and ready to get onto that gravel. Well, here's the place where we leave the road. And we find somebody else in here. What are the chances of that? Unbelievable. Well, let's shut this stuff off here for a minute and see what we got. Holy moly, that's a rough ass road. Look at this. Okay, so now we're crossing a hydro line here. And this is the good part of the road right here. And then it gets rough. This part, at least, is reasonably dry. There were a couple of slightly mushy spots, but as you can see, there's a fair bit of gravel here. They've done a halfway decent job of this logging road. So, not bad so far. But like I said, this is the main road. Oh, this is not bad. This is the main road, so I'm not sure what's going to happen when we turn off to the next section. I don't believe privacy will be much of a problem here. You want to see moose country? Just keep watching. This is something else. There's bits of marsh and streams and puddles everywhere. All kinds of, see all here, poplar and willow. It should be a moose and bear paradise here. Look at this. By golly, it doesn't get much prettier than this. Well, I thought there was actually, well, I guess this road sort of keeps going that way. But we're supposed to turn to the right. I thought there was actually, well, let's carry on. Okay, so at this point we want to mark distance because there are no marks where the property is. So we need to mark the distance here and go 17.2 kilometers. So let's do that. I'm going to shut you off here for a minute while I set up the GPS, and I think I'll let Timber out to stretch his legs. And what you see here, this logging road is actually in excellent condition so far. But I don't want to jinx myself because I still have 10 more miles of this. And Timber, when I let him out of the box at the back of the truck there he is over there, he almost exploded with excitement. He's not probably going to get back in all the way. I imagine he's going to run the whole thing. Have you ever seen Tom? How you doing, Tom? How's the heart rate going there, buddy? Wish you were here. My goodness. Now it looks like this beaver meadow here, this pond, is almost over the road up in front of me. I don't think it's a problem to get past, even with the truck here, but we'll see here when we get a bit closer. I have lost cell phone signal. Whether I get it back or not somewhere up further here as I go up the hills and so on, I don't really know, but here, let me move you around here just a little bit. Oh yeah, rough. Look at this. I think there might just be a moose out here, Tom. There's maybe one anyway. Put that camera down here while I have a look. I may have to get out and just make sure it doesn't drop down to the side there. This is the other side here. There's another beaver lodge over there. And I'm going right through the middle of this beaver marsh pond assembly. And, oh yeah, I think I can get through this. Big beaver lodge right over there. And then the pond actually is broken up by the road. The water's going right across the road. And that's all still ice, as you can see. So I would imagine if you were in here for, let me just pay attention here for a second. Yeah, right. Hey Timber, atta boy. Having a drink? Okay, well that wasn't too bad. Wasn't real deep, but if you were way up in here and you were in here for a week or two when that ice went out, you might find you couldn't get back out for a while. Well, there's a couple spots here where it's potholy and rough, yeah, and the trailer's grounding out a little bit. I'm careful. I might keep going a little further. I'm about halfway. I've still got 5 more miles. Yeah, a good 5 miles. But we are moving up into slightly higher ground. I've gone up a couple of little rises, small hills, and I haven't gone back down yet. So, oh, there's a nice duck. So, gradually I'm getting into nicer ground, so I should probably have fairly dry road. This would be pretty tough in another month. I'm kind of lucky that we are having this cold weather because the ground is still frozen. And there's a lot of spots like this part right here where are fairly decently graveled and fairly high ground, but on those low spots back where that beaver pond was starting to run right across the road, in that area there was some spots where it would be quite soft, and that might be kind of tough to get through with the truck. But certainly the four-wheeler and definitely the Argo will get through there. So this will be accessible all the time, but you'll have to pick and choose the days you want to come in here with the truck, that's for sure. And take my saw and remove that tree that's busted off here so I can fit through. We'll carry on. My goodness, they really took it out here. Still, 2, maybe 3 years from now, when this is all full of raspberry bushes and willows and alders, the moose are going to be in here like mad. Good place. Look at all this stuff. Now all this stuff that's left to the side here, they're not taking that out. That's just bits and pieces. Look at the firewood there. Man, I don't even have to cut it. Just take it back and split it up. That's amazing. I mean, look at there, on the other side of the road too. And these piles here, you know, there's some good birch and all sorts of stuff in there. And it's up off the ground. At least the upper parts are. Just no shortage of wood. There'd be some ducks and geese here in the fall. You think? And there's a lot more open places like this. More open than this as well. This is starting to get quite rough, and I still have a fair ways to go, and I'm beginning to think that we're nearing the end of the line with the truck. There's another duck. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, shit. Okay. Alright, well, we've made it. Ooh. Well, we'll carry on a bit more. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to get my butt stuck back here. Wouldn't be the first time. I have a kind of a bad habit of getting into places that are pretty remote. Not necessarily always getting back out again. At least not right away. So I guess this is pretty much what it's going to look like when I get there. It could change in the next 2.25 miles or whatever, but and over on the sides here, there's just marshes everywhere. Whoops, sorry about that. Marshes everywhere, willows, alders, and then on the other side it's basically the same thing. Look at just all regrowth in there. That's going to be quite a place in another month when it starts to green up. It's going to be pretty nice back here, and by then hopefully we'll have enough warm weather that it will you know, dry up a little bit here. I'm quite fortunate. I didn't think I'd be going this far. Oh, there's a partridge right there. I don't know if you can see him going in off the side of the road right there. Bridge here. I don't know what the boards are about, but the bridge is made out of metal. It looks steel. I'll avoid the boards just in case there's any nails or anything in them. There's a bit of a drop here. I better hold the camera because we're gonna go. Whoa, fuck. Oh, sorry, pardon the language, but youch. Yeesh. You know, I'm really pushing my luck back here. I'm a long way back, and if I got stuck back here, holy, that would really suck. Finally hit the end of the line here. This is getting softer and softer. It's too bad because I can see it goes up a little rise up there and it looks good, but right up in front of me is a pretty wet spot, and I'm already sliding around pretty good, and I'm already really pushing my luck. With the amount of slipping and sliding I'm doing in the mud now, it's just came too far. I should have put it off probably a mile or two back, but I unhitched the trailer, unloaded the four-wheeler, unhitched the trailer, got the truck out, got it turned around over here in the muck. Anyway, so I'm going to use the four-wheeler to turn the trailer around, and I'll get the truck in front of it, get it hitched back up. And like I said, we're miles, well, you've seen it, we're a long way back here. So I pushed my luck to the very limit here. Anyway, I'm going to get the four-wheeler, I'm going to turn the trailer around, get it back up about where the four-wheeler's sitting, get the truck in front of it and rehitch it, and then we're going to go the last couple miles up that way. That was close. Oh boy, this has been quite the trip. We got a ways to go still. Anyway, quick break, little energy, we're off. Prairie country and plenty of water. And somebody put in a culvert here for the logging trucks, and this is kind of leaves a bit to be desired, doesn't it? Okay, we better get into some gearing here because this is a real shit. My golly. Alright. Definitely won't be bringing the pickup truck back here. Anyway. Man, this is wild country up here. But I keep going up in elevation. Okay, so this is what usually happens. Wouldn't have been a normal trip if we didn't have trouble. What we got here, we're coming through this mucky part, and you can see these chunks of log laying around, and they were laying flat, but the tire caught one and flipped it up on end, and it went right up inside by the engine. And this is what used to be the air box, all twisted up out of place, and killed the engine immediately. So we're kind of stuck in this bog here And if you, I don't know if it's too dark, but right down there I can see the hunk of stick sticking right up there. It actually bumps the seat right up. It hit so hard it just about knocked me right out of the seat. So the plan is to winch to that stump over there if we can't get it to move, and then see if we can sort out why it's not running and get ourselves back on track. Always something. And always at the very furthest point from where the vehicle is, the truck. I hate to leave it here, this thing, and walk back. Anyway, let's give it a whirl, see if we can get out of here. Okay. Whew. Field repair complete. I had to winch it forward out of that hole. And there was that chunk of wood right there. Where is it? That one right there was jammed up under the airbox. Knocked a couple of lines off and a couple of wires, but it was jammed. It hit just exactly between the frame and the skid plate and went right up between the two, and it was really jammed in there. Anyway, we're running, so let me just button up this mess and I'll get the heck out of here. So that piece that was busted, that I broke off, was actually attached to this end of this big thing right here. So that whole thing was jammed up underneath there. That's why I couldn't get it loose. It was actually sticking in the ground and shoving up force against the, so I actually had to hack and chop it off. But anyways, we'll go a little further that way, see if we can get a bit of a view, but if we run into any more of this kind of stuff, I'm just going to turn back. I've had just about enough of this, and it's not getting any earlier in the day, so we'll take some coordinates on the GPS, if nothing else. At least we found it. We'll have a look around. Lots of birch trees, that's nice. Lots of birch trees. Anyway, let me get my coat on, we'll move on a bit. Okay, we're getting very close to the property line. As soon as I get through this crap, I will check the GPS. But we should be just about where that snow is in front of us. Should just about do it. And I'll tell you, the next time I come here, it's definitely Argo territory. This thing's doing good. I'm not complaining. But anyway, the Argo would have not had that problem, especially with the trap. Oh, what do we got here? Antlers. Old antlers. What do you got there, Timber? Oh yeah, they've been out here for a long time. There's moose tracks all over the place here. All over the place. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna check this. This is about it, folks. Here, rough riding. I think this is the spot. Well, I think I'm going to walk it from here just so I can see more what's going on. Let me shut this thing down, we'll go for a little stroll. Oh yeah, lots of moose sign. There we go. Moose drops. Oh, there's sign all over here. That tracks the antlers. And right there is just too much glare, but that's the beaver pond. See if I can get that far. The property line is the other side of that pond. If I can get there. I'm gonna shut the camera off here for a minute. Lots of rabbit tracks right there. And this is what was the old logging road. Oh, here's more moose droppings. Oh, and there's more, holy smokes, there's more right there. Yeah, just a moose highway here. Every time I take a step, or 2 or 3 steps, I break through the crust and kind of jars you, because you go down suddenly on one leg. land kind of solidly. Let's go this way. I think it's not so deep. Whew. Anyway, I think we have the point here. Gosh almighty. Not just the snow, but you can see how irregular the ground is. So every time I sink through, I jam up between this stuff. Oh, hard on the legs. Anyway, this is a little bit better for a minute. There's the third pile of moose droppings in, well, just not even as far back as we can see. So that would be possibly maybe 200 yards, maybe not even. And that's the third pile. So they're using this old road, which is obviously no longer in use. And this is a moose highway here. I think I've said that before, haven't I? Kind of cool. Lots of birch trees. Any luck, I'll find some chaga. I've seen some already, but it was way up high, and I'm sure not going to kill a tree just to chop it down for a hunk of chaga. So we'll just watch until we can find some closer. Anyway, I think that's it. I spent a lot more time getting here and digging that stick and branch and stuff out of the bottom of the four-wheeler, so I'm going to have to head back soon. But anyway, mission successful. This is the spot. And I'm at very high ground here. I'm going to use the GPS and take an altimeter reading, altitude reading. Well, got my hand stuck. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's been quite a journey, and it's not over yet. I'll be back in here with the chainsaw, and I'll bring the Argo, and I'll come back in here, and all this brush and junk that's in the road here, I'm going to clean up a narrow track so that I can get in without having to bust up the machines. And it doesn't have to be wide, just the track of the four-wheeler is only the track of the four-wheeler is 48 inches. The Argo is 56, I think. Anyway, so I don't need to make a wide track. I just need to, actually half of this I don't even need to cut. I can just shove it out of the way. So I was going to stop and have a fire and make some tea, but like I said, it's getting on in the day, and I've got a long way back. Look at that, just everywhere these tracks. Just up and down this road. This is the road. I'm about maybe a mile away from the property now, heading back. And from up at the all at the property and all the way down here is nothing but moose tracks. It's not a very good spot here. Oh yeah, goody. Look out, Timber. There's a couple of nasty spots like that. That's the reason why you're never going to get a pickup truck in here, because I don't think that would take the weight. It buckles when I go over it with this. That's where the Argo with all the wheels, or even better, the tracks would distribute the weight a lot better. How's it going, bud? Good boy. made it this far again. Let's get turned around because we back it on. Look at the mud on that truck. Look at the tires. This mud is half clay and it's like glue. It sticks to the tires. You don't have any tread left because it's all packed full of that clay and it sticks to my boots. Makes my feet weigh 10 pounds. Anyway, there we are. That pretty much concludes that adventure. So folks, I'm just going to load this up and then I'm going to mosey on back out of here. If by chance I see any critters on the road on my way out, because I still have probably 7 miles to go, I'll definitely bring you back. Oops, I'll definitely bring you back. But other than that, have a great week. Be safe. See you all down the trail. Say bye.